So Google has begun rolling out the March 2024 core and spam updates, and many SEOs are unfortunately being crushed. In this video, I'll show you what Google is specifically targeting and what you can do to avoid being hit in the future. Let's get into it. Okay guys, let's start with part one here, which is what Google wants, all right? And this is just gonna be largely based on what Google has publicly said about this particular update, okay? And you really need to pay attention to some of the key things that are being said here, and this will help you ultimately prevent getting penalized in the future, and number two, actually get long-term SEO results, okay? So let's dive into this very quickly here. We're gonna tackle this most important part, which is what Google has said. So number one, in their documentation, they say reduce unoriginal content in the search results. So their goal is to actually get rid of a lot of the junk that doesn't actually add any unique value, okay? So if we reverse this, we should change this to create original content, all right? So take the opposite, and that's what we should do. And this has always been the case. This has nothing to do with AI. This has nothing to do with the way that you create the content. That's not the point here. The point is that whether you're using AI or whether a human is writing it, it should always come from the perspective that you're actually adding something new to the equation. So when you look at a lot of search results, you don't want to just look, like if you take a keyword and you analyze the top 10, the goal isn't just take that and just regurgitate it into another piece of content. That has never been a good idea. And that was even prior to AI content. This has always been the case. And you should always think about when you look at a set of search results, you want to try to find an angle that has not been hit before. Okay, so I'll just give you a couple examples, right? And I can only really use my own site as an example because I can't show client sites, but I'll just show you, like, if we search something like, best CMS for SEO, okay? This is a data-driven study that I did. My site, Gotcha SEO, is not as authoritative as the sites that are ranking here, okay? It's not as authoritative, yet I'm here. And when you look at these results, when I originally created this case study, I saw this keyword. I'm like, this looks like a great keyword, because every single result that I saw was just, here's a list of CMSs that you can pick from, and these are the best ones, but there was no like quantifiable reason why that CMS was the best. So what I thought of was like, all right, well, what if I created a case study where I could actually examine all these CMSs and see which ones tend to perform the best in Google. Now, keep in mind, your CMS, which CMS you pick, is not a Google ranking factor, but I wanted to see, like, is there data to ultimately quantify an idea that, X CMS is better than Y, okay? And that's what I did. I created this data-driven asset, and I originally created this in 2016, and this ranked for a very, very long time, and it had barely any content at all. It was super simple content. Then I just refreshed it again recently, and it popped back up to number 2 again. And so this is when we talk about original content, this is where our mind should go. Like, you don't want to copy what's on the first page. That's a horrible idea. Like, we don't want to just regurgitate what's already there. We want to see what's there and then see how we can attack that SERP from a totally unique angle, but continues to satisfy the intent of that keyword, right? We're still trying to deliver some value for that searcher that they wanted, right? But no one wants to go and just look through a bunch of search results where it's literally all the same information. Like, bring something new to the table. If it's all a bunch of how-to or what is or very informational based content, then bring some data in there. Like, there's so many different angles we can use to attack keywords. Okay, so another interesting one here is another one from Gotcha SEO, just to show you a separate example. For this one, I actually wrote this content, right? I actually went through, wrote this content. It's 100% unique, and a human wrote it, okay? But this one here, which is SEO Jobs St. Louis, this is another case study that I did. And this content here was, I used a lot of artificial intelligence to help me develop this content, okay? And it isn't all AI content, but it is a AI assisted asset, because what I did is I took data and I put it into ChatGPT to synthesize that data to ultimately be able to get original outputs, right? So if you put in original inputs, you can get original outputs. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. And there's nothing wrong with using artificial intelligence to help you write. That's not a problem. It's just what comes out of that is the problem. So if you have a good angle for content, you've got something that's really original and unique, you can certainly use AI to help you synthesize the data, ultimately help you develop some findings, and even write some of the content for you. But at the end of the day, even an asset like this, even though it is AI assisted, there's a lot of uniqueness to this, right? There is no other asset on the internet that's like mine. There's not a single one. This is unique to the internet. So that's what you should be thinking about. Like, if I were to create something that no one else has created before on the entire internet, what would I do, right? And when you look at this, it's not just like, let's make something really long. That's not what we're thinking about. We're thinking about like, what's a unique purple cow type of angle that I can take that's going to be really, really unique. Okay. So that's when it comes to this concept of original or unoriginal. All right. So we're going to go back here and we'll keep diving in here, but this is like, I wanted to highlight this one right away because this is the most important part. Okay. Number two, keep the lowest quality content out of the search. Now, really look at the word that I'm emphasizing here, the lowest quality content. Okay. This is a really important distinction because Google, just the way that Google is built, it can't turn the dial so far that it starts to wipe out a bunch of actual legitimate websites. So what Google's going to do is it's going to go after the lowest hanging fruits as far as just garbage, right? So they're going to take out the trash. They're going to clean up the worst stuff. And yes, within that, there might be some collateral damage that is inevitable to happen. But Google doesn't care, because if there's a little bit of collateral damage, but it cleans up the majority of the SERPs, then it probably was a good decision, right? So unfortunately, that's just the nature of what's going on. There will be people that are doing legitimate work that probably do get penalized, but that's pretty rare. When you look at the majority of the sites that are getting hit, as we'll be seeing here very, very soon, there's a lot of good reason for it. Okay. So just remember that don't be concerned if you're mixing some AI and you're, using AI assisted, as long as you're keeping it high quality and original, because that's not what they're going after. They're going after the worst of the worst, because that's actually the easiest that they can go after. Because as you start to muddy the waters and it becomes more difficult to differentiate between human content and AI content, that's when it becomes very difficult for them to penalize. Okay, so they're gonna go after the lowest common, the lowest hanging fruits here. All right. Next one is poor user experience. There's nothing new here. Like you're gonna see some of these sites, they don't look like websites that anyone would ever want to bookmark or actually go back to. Like, they're not good websites. Like, not even from an SEO perspective, but like the sites just aren't something that you're excited about. Like, you look and you're like, okay, this is a little weird. And it's not like you would never, ever in a million years bookmark the website or want to come back in any way. Okay. And that produces negative user signals, which is a Google ranking factor, which we know now based on their court cases. So there's a lot of things here. So, and I'll be talking like what we can do to improve this. And we will be talking a little bit about Google EAT. Once again, that's not a ranking factor, but there's a lot of stuff that I've talked about previously that can make your website much more legitimate. Okay, another one here, which is created for search engines instead of people. Okay, this is nothing new, right? You're like, that's what I don't understand when people try to create this like mass-produced content strategy and they just want to rank for a bunch of keywords, because ranking is only the first stage of the equation. Like, yes, ranking is a critical piece to getting traffic, but once you actually get traffic, which are real people coming to your page, if it isn't actually built to produce a conversion, create engagement, like give value, like all of these things that really matter for a good piece of content, then you should not expect to succeed very long term. Okay, like your content should be built for objectives. And when I create a piece of content, I'm thinking about like, what are people going to get out of this? What's the value that they're going to get out of this? And if I do a good job, that will help push, my audience to want to, know, like, and trust me and my brand. Okay. There's a lot that goes into this, and you should be thinking about that. Not just how do I rank for as many keywords as possible? We should be thinking about like, okay, what's actually the objective of this content that we're creating? Are we creating this just so we can rank for keywords and juice our traffic numbers? Or are we creating this asset because it can actually lead to a more middle or bottom of the funnel objective that actually grows the business? Like, thinking more about that. And if you think like that, then you're going to develop your strategies based on humans and the humans that are going to be reading that content. And at the end of the day, that's what we're doing this for. We're doing it to get humans to our website who then can do things such as buy our products, become leads, become clients, buy our, buy products through our affiliate links. Like, humans have to do that stuff. So you should always begin with that perspective. All right. Another one is content with little to no value created at scale. Okay. This is just kind of a dig at, programmatic SEO combined with AI content, possibly not even AI content, right? In a lot of cases, a lot of people do programmatic, which is just producing a ton of pages at scale with the intent to rank for as many keywords as possible. Okay. So historically, when you look across updates, you look across just what's happened over the last 10 years or so that I've been doing this, anything that's mass produced, anything that's super easy to do is just typically not going to be a good idea. And it's like anything else in life. Like, getting rich quick is not usually a possibility. Like, building a business is actually incredibly difficult. It's very difficult to build a real successful business. It's really difficult to create a very good piece of SEO content. Okay, and I'll show you, like, for example, the Google EAT series that I did. I hit on all 4 parts of Google EAT. It took me like 2 months to finish that content. 2 months, right? Most people just want to, throw something into ChatGPT and produce some worthless piece of content, slap it on their site, and then they are confused why they're not going to win, right? And that stuff just doesn't win, okay, long term. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking sustainable long-term rankings and growth, not what works for a month or 2 months or 6 months. I'm talking about years of rankings. Like, how do you rank for 5 years, right? If you thought about that, like, if I had to rank this asset for 5 years, what would I do? You'd probably change what you do a little bit, okay? Another one here is capitalizing on the hosting site's strong reputation. This is once again a dig at parasite SEO. And there are ethical ways to do parasite SEO. Like, I'm not a fan of, like, certain methods being demonized. I don't really care. People can do whatever they want as long as they determine what their risk tolerance is. But you can do parasite SEO in what I would consider a more ethical, safer way. So, for example, I have a book on Amazon that is called The SEO Entrepreneur, okay? And I have an Amazon listing, and I'll show you real quickly here. We'll go to Amazon. Actually, I'll just go to my book listing here. And you'll see I have a book, and if we go to the canonical here, we'll actually pull the canonical URL here, and then we'll go into Google. And you'll see that this is actually indexed in Google, okay? It's indexed actually quite a few times for different variations in different countries. But what I can do, if I wanted to, is I could actually use this URL as part of an SEO campaign, okay? I could actually start to promote this URL. I could go and write content on other websites and promote my book and via Amazon. And because of Amazon's insane website authority, this page will likely perform quite well. Okay. And you can do that in a really natural way. You don't have to blast your page with a bunch of spam to make it happen. You can just treat this like you would your own website. Like, if this was your page on your website, you'd want to drive the most relevant, high quality links to that page, right? And so you can do that. This is an ethical way to go about that. All right. So just very simple things to kind of reverse our strategies here. And you can use a lot of these techniques that gray hat SEOs do, but you can do it in a much safer way and still get the outcome, okay? And you can still leverage existing authority. It's totally a legitimate strategy to leverage other websites' authority and trust. That's not uncommon, right? That's why you advertise on niche relevant websites because you know that they have trust and authority. So you're just trying to transfer some of that to your brand. It's the same with SEO. Okay. You can leverage these powerful websites to get, particular outcomes. All right. So that's another one here. And then the next part of this, which is going to be part 2, is it's time to start analyzing some of these websites that were de-indexed. Okay, you've probably seen it on Twitter and throughout, and I'll cite all of the things where I pulled from various people. A lot of people have been working really hard on this and very generously sharing information about websites that have been hit. So I've been taking note of a lot of these, and I will give citations for all of these people that have shared this so they get proper credit. Okay, but I am going to analyze some of the sites that have been dropped that I've been taking note of. Just so you guys can, get a good understanding of what's going on here. Okay, so let's dive into it. Okay, so I've got quite a few websites open that have been de-indexed after this recent update. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these websites, I don't have any, this is all out of love. I'm just trying to help. I'm like, whatever it is, whatever has happened, there's no judgment being placed here. Okay, I'm just trying to show some practical examples of how we can actually, possibly even recover some of these websites. Not to say, some of them have done some pretty questionable things and I don't know if recovery is possible, but it's important. It's just an important learning lesson to see, what these sites have done that we can learn from. And so once again, I don't have any issues with anyone, but I just think it's important that we see this is just reality. Okay, this is reality. Now, all the sites that we're looking at here have been de-indexed by Google. I have verification that they've been de-indexed. And when it comes to SEO, there's pretty much, I can't think of anything that's worse than getting de-indexed. It is truly the worst thing that can happen. So if you get de-indexed, it's over. It's game over. It's like getting banned from a social media platform. It's over for you. I mean, you're going to lose all your traffic and it's only a matter of time. It'll be completely gone. And so the first one we're going to start here with is ZachJohnson.com. He's been in the game for a really long time. So I was pretty shocked by this one, but I think it's probably has to do with a lot of the new, the new things that Google's looking at, which is like accuracy of information, and just, quality content, right? Okay. So when we look at Zach, we can verify he is actually been completely de-indexed. So in a situation like this where they've been completely de-indexed, this is the product of a manual action. Okay, this means Google's manual reviewers actually selected this website and said it's gone. Okay, this is not an algorithmic penalty. Very rarely do you get de-indexed from the algorithm. I mean, you have to do something really nasty for that to happen. So this type of level of a site that has a lot of pages, a lot of traffic, even a lot of authority in some cases, to get de-indexed, that is a manual reviewer who made that decision. Okay, so let's just make that clear. Okay, so let's take a look, and we'll look at a few things here. Number one, just general traffic data we can see here, like, had a lot of growth going on here, up to almost 5 million visitors a month in February, and now it's down to I think we're down to about 2 million. Okay, so we've dropped more than half, and of course, because he's de-indexed, this is gonna drop even more. Okay, this is gonna be a painful loss as far as revenue. Okay, now we can see with a lot of the position changes, we can see just like kind of what's going on here and what's being lost at a high level. So you can see here, like this one, he's lost about 36,000. Okay, so February 7th, he was at 37,000 organic search visitors, and March 6th, he's at 200. So you can see the numbers here. That's almost 100% decrease. I mean, it's pretty brutal. Now let's take a look and see, like, was this warranted? Okay. Now, when we look at this, we can actually we'll open up originality.ai for some fun here on this. And we'll just see how much of this is actually AI generated. Okay. So we'll just copy this, and you can actually, with Originality, you can actually just pull the URL on this, but I'll just copy it for this purpose. So we'll start a new scan, we'll run this through, and I won't actually even do any other things. We'll just do the AI detection, and we'll see how well it does. Okay, we'll see if it comes back as original, and to be expected, it does not. Okay, 100% certainty that it's AI. Now keep in mind, this is, I think people get these metrics confused on originally.ai. It's not saying that the content is 100% AI. It's saying that it's the likelihood that it's AI. Okay, so this believes it's 100% likelihood that this content was written by some sort of large language model. Okay, and I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to see that, you know, this, and once again, okay, this is another example, just like aggressive ads. Okay, like I couldn't even get to the content because it's an aggressive ad. Now, unfortunately, this is actually from Google AdSense that does this. And so it's kind of a weird situation in that regard. And also huge authority sites do it as well. But once again, anything that can disrupt user experience like this is really problematic. Like I can't even get out of this. Look, there's not even an exit button for me to get out of this. And then finally it pops away. Okay. So that's the type of stuff that we don't want. All right. Now now we can actually like objectively look at this content, okay, from my subjective point of view, okay, but there's just a lot of things here. Like I noticed there's some commonalities among sites that got hit, and then one of them is like a lot of net worth based content, which is thin and typically not accurate, because how would anyone know, you know, Gervonta Davis's net worth? Unless they had access to his bank accounts and his investments, how would they know his net worth? They don't know his income. They don't know his assets. They don't know his debt. Like there's no way they could know net worth. That's why sites like this are just ridiculous, because they don't actually, it's just not real information. It's literally not real. So, and even looking at these, like these net worth things, like they're totally made up. It's literally just completely made up stuff. Now we can actually go and verify some of this stuff and see like how accurate some of this. So like Tank Davis, we can look and see endorsements and see who he's endorsed by. Okay, and he is endorsed by Under Armour, so that is legit. So that actually is accurate information. Okay, so it's not necessarily that Google's gonna come in here and like fact check everything. That's definitely not what it's gonna be, but it's more from the fact that like this is not super valuable content. It's not really adding anything new to the table. And then going back to the concept of Google EEAT, like when you look at this page, who wrote this? Like, I don't even know who wrote this. I don't know why they're qualified to write about this. And I know this isn't like a your money, your life type of situation, but even then, you know, it's just a little weird. And on top of it, the strangest part about this, by the way, which I think is hilarious, this is not even Tank Davis. Like I know who Tank Davis is. I've watched his fights. That is not him. So this is some sort of AI generated image that isn't even the person that the content is about. So, you know, you can do a reverse image search and see like it's just, this is the type of stuff that like you're not really surprised by, okay? Because that's literally not him. So going back to, you know, stuff being original, we've got some problems here, okay? So once again, I'm not really surprised by this, all right? And there's just so many things missing. I'll show you some stuff that's like, that is good practices for Google EAT, but for now, I think it's pretty clear why the site probably got hit, all right? Just a lot of mass production with AI content. Not super complicated. All right, let's keep going here. Freshers Live is another one. So when we look in the search results, it's gone. And we can actually go and dig in real quick. Okay, so let's look at how they're trending, and they're losing traffic pretty aggressively at the same speed as well. And it seems like a lot of this like entertainment-based content seems to be getting hit pretty badly. Okay, so anything that's like entertainment based seems to be a real problem. Okay, so looking at their decreases here, it looks like a lot of celebrity based things, Filipino food, so that just dropped pretty badly. They've got these weird like crossword things, but let's see, Zach Bryan height. Okay, so we can look at this one here as an example, but Zach Bryan height, how tall is Zach Bryan? And then, okay, there's this, like going back to what I talked about in user experience when I said here, right in this poor user experience, this is an example, okay? It's a lot of these things is not like it's just AI content or it's just mass production. It's usually because of multiple variables working together for Google to conclude that this site should no longer be in its search results, okay? Now, when you look at this one, we've got a lot of unfortunate issues. Number one, user experience. Like, this is an example of a site prioritizing monetization over experience, and it should always be the opposite. You should prioritize user experience first. When you've done a good job of helping the user and actually satisfying intent and giving them what they came for, then you monetize, right? It's just a very, to flip the script on them a little bit, okay? Now this is really just so annoying. I mean, I can't even get to the content. And I don't know what person would want to deal with this, honestly. Like, I don't know who would battle through to find out this information that hard. So there's probably some really bad stuff. Now, Zach Bryan, let's see, we'll do a reverse image search here and see if this comes back as Zach Bryan. And it does. Okay, so they got that. So different than the other side, they did get the picture of Zach Bryan, right? Okay, and then looking at this, let's see, how tall is he? Want to know Zach Bryan height, then read this article and get the exact info on Zach Bryan height. Wow, okay. I'm still waiting to see his height. Let's see here. Okay, we've got his height. He's 6'1", all right? So it took us that long to find the answer, and you can just look at how aggressive the optimization is on this content. I mean, they are pushing it to the limit with as far as, really injecting keywords and being super aggressive. And let's be honest, the content is not well written. Like, it's not well written at all. We can run a few of these through. We'll run this through originality.ai. Just copy this, and we'll see how well it does in this scenario. And just took an okay snippet there just to see, but we'll see how well it does on this front. And it's, yeah, there we go. 99% certainty that it's AI, okay? I don't need to use this tool to know. Just by looking at it, it's just not super well written. We can go just even to Grammarly, which ironically uses AI to edit content, but we'll go in here and just like paste this in and just see how well it's written. Like, just at a basic level, like it doesn't even score just from pure, just like writing, basics writing. This is like the bottom of the barrel type of AI content. And Marilyn, I mentioned, like, going back to what they said here, which is the lowest quality content, okay? The lowest. Unfortunately, I'm sorry for whoever made this site. I'm not trying to attack you in any way, but I'm just saying, like, this is the type of content that they're referring to, okay? This is not great content, I'm sorry to say, okay? Now, going back here, another one here, this is Equity Atlas, completely de-indexed. We'll look at how they're trending. And let's see, yep, they're going pretty fast. So from 3 to 1 pretty quickly. And let's see, one of the ones that they got hit. Once again, this is more of this like entertainment-based websites with, wealthy or whatever, people's wealth and things of that nature. This one here is actually really, really problematic. The other two, they're just generally lower quality, but this one to me is the most problematic because they're actually talking about money. So your money, your life, they are in the most dangerous category where you cannot mess around at all unless you want to get nailed, okay? So when you start talking about personal finance and business and investing, things that involve people's money and the chance that they could lose it, you better really be qualified to write about this topic. And so we can go and just look at one of these talking about, let's actually go to, we'll go into the investing category, which is where people lose a lot of money, okay? So investing in longevity, financial opportunities in anti-aging and health span extension, okay? So, looking at this, it looks like it's some sort of generic content that does not cite its sources at all, and then that's it. And who's it written by? It's written by a seasoned financial expert with a keen eye for the world of celebrity happenings. I don't know what that is, but we can search this quickly. Just search this person and see, are they a legitimate person? And in seconds, we find out that they are not, okay? So, and actually, funny thing is getmorebios.com. So I feel like this is probably some sort of like site where you can go get a fake bio. But that, like, think about it this way. I'm just one guy. I'm just one guy digging around, and I can quickly see that this is a bunch of nonsense, like that quickly. And then people think that the $1 trillion company can't figure this out. Okay. Like they have more resources than any other company to deploy against this type of behavior. So what works in the short term, you know, obviously you might get away with it, but long term, their resources are unmatched. You're not going to be able to keep beating them for very long. Okay. And let's take a look at this one now, just to verify and see, just to see some commonalities among these sites that have been hit. And once again, pretty clear that it's predominantly going to be AI-driven content. Okay. And this one, to me, I'm not surprised at all, because this is not written by anyone legitimate. There's no proof that this is reliable information. There's no attempt to even prove that it's reliable or trustworthy in any way. And the content itself is just not easy to read. It's on a green background. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So I don't even think I need to dig into a lot of these very far to see. It doesn't take extensive analysis to see what good content looks like. And if we look at, like, we go to like the balance, for example, okay, if I can spell, all right, and we look at one of their pieces of content, we'll go to the same exact category, which is investing. Okay, we'll go to stocks, and we'll look for a piece of content. Okay, so how to make money in stocks. Very controversial topic, okay? But we look at this, compare this, we'll go ahead and look at this content to this content, and we'll just put them side by side, okay? We don't even need to actually read the content. But if we just look at it, like actually just from totally a quick glance, like at a glance, we look at these two assets and we see there's, sorry, I've got so many things up right now. Let's see, where did it go? Let's see, let's go back to the one we are looking at, which we'll just look at this one. All right, 1 second here. Let's go back to the one I was looking at. Okay, here we go. All right, so looking at these side by side, like within seconds, who do you trust more? Don't even look at the content. Just look at the sites. Instantly, I see this site looks way more trustworthy, just without even any other information, because at least there's an author, at least it's been reviewed, so at least there's some sort of review process. So on the surface level, this site just looks more trustworthy. You look at this site, it's like, I don't know what's going on here. Why is the terms of use and privacy policy in the main navigation? That's odd. Like that's not even like normal for any website for that. So I don't really understand why more due diligence wasn't taken. But I guess that's just the nature of it. And then when you look at the content itself, it's very clear, like they're citing sources. The content is clearly very well written. They have citations, like it's actually easy to read. There's just a lot of things here that make it much more trusted, as opposed to this, which I think it's pretty clear here. Okay, so I'm not going to keep harboring on it, but let's keep going here. Next one here is Tech Penny. They're de-indexed, and we'll see how they're trending right now. Let's see here. Oh, actually, I didn't want to go there. Let's take a look at organic research. And actually, they got hit a long time ago. Yeah, they didn't even get hit with this most recent update. They got hit a while back. So yeah, this one actually wasn't. It got de-indexed, but it had already been hit by other algorithm updates. So this is just like, if you want to call it the nail in the coffin on this site. And if we look at it, I think it's pretty clear why. Okay, when we look at this, like this is the type of site I was talking about earlier, where it's like, is this the type of website that you would like want to put in your bookmarks to retain and go back to? Me personally, probably not. Okay, this doesn't look like something I'd really love a whole lot, and not something I'd want to come back to, right? But a website like, if we go to ratings.com or rtings or whatever you want to call it, you can see like this is a sick website. Like this is a great website. Okay, like this is amazing. Okay, this is what a good website looks like. This is a site where you're like, oh, okay, this is crazy. Like I can actually see quantifiable like reviews of TVs, and they actually use data, and like, wow, they put a lot of work into this. There must be a lot of effort that has been put into this content, right? When you see that, it's very clear. It doesn't take being an SEO content expert to see this. It just takes at a glance, you can see what good content looks like, okay? Another one here, godownsize.com. Let's see here. Same one. In fact, this is the same situation. It is de-indexed, but it also got hit with previous updates, and obviously is not going to recover based on what we see here, okay? Same thing, just a generic website that's built for SEO, essentially, okay? Another one here, let's take a look at them, and let's see. Okay, so they were really flying high in February, living their best life here, and then now I think we know where this is headed, okay? Especially because they're no index. The site is completely no indexed. So, and we look at the position changes. Once again, a lot of that same stuff that we talked about, which is just random, like what's their height, what's their weight, is just like strange content. And we can actually, what's kind of interesting is let's just take a look at one of these for fun and just see like what is actually ranking now. Okay. And it looks like there's still some like weird, bio, type of websites ranking. And we'll look at this one in particular that's ranking well. And let's see, Kevin Gates. And I think just this industry in general is pretty rough as far as quality goes. But I think what Google's really concerned about is accuracy. So the more accurate it is, it probably will be better off. And it doesn't seem like this one's as spammy as the others. To say it's not spammy would be a leap. I think it's still like pretty intense as far as their monetization techniques. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ads just on this one screen right now. If this was my website, I would be really scared. I think this is playing a very dangerous game, and I think this site could get hit just based on poor user experience. And I can tell it's slow as well. So I just think this industry in general is not the highest quality type of content, but it's one of those industries that seems like it's kind of like a churn and burn type of situation. So yeah, definitely an odd one. Another one here, the final one. No, I think that was it. Okay, so we've analyzed all the sites, and I think it's pretty clear what we don't want to do. Okay, this is what we don't want to do, and what I would recommend doing is actually going to Gotcha SEO, searching EEAT, okay? And I have, honestly, like there's a lot of guides out there, a lot of great guides on this, but I do know that I put in more work on my guides than anyone else. There's no way, because I literally spent a disgusting amount of time on these, almost like scary how much time, probably multiple months to develop this series. So I go through each individual piece of Google EAT. Okay, so if we actually go back here, I've got kind of like a summary of a lot of these, but if you experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Now let's just clarify here, Google EAT is not a ranking factor as a whole. Okay, it's not like Google EAT as a whole is a ranking factor, but a lot of the things that are within these guidelines are ranking factors, in particular backlinks, right, on the authoritativeness side. But looking at this with experience, like going back to product reviews, like if you're gonna do product reviews, try to actually use those products, okay? Like actually use them, actually test them. Like I showed you with ratings, like they actually go through and they actually test these products. Yes, that's more expensive. Yes, that takes more effort. Yes, that's gonna cost money and various other things. But that's exactly the point. Because if you do that, you're not gonna have to worry about penalties, okay? Like if you're doing to this level and putting so much effort into your content, then you stop caring about Google penalties because you know you're doing great work. And when you do great work, people naturally wanna link to you, people wanna reference you, people wanna do all this cool stuff, okay? So in that regard, if you can do product reviews, you really are gonna need to buy the products, okay? That's just, there's no workaround for that. This whole guide here though will help you on this front. If you're gonna be on the affiliate review based side, like this is where you wanna be, okay? You wanna be definitely optimizing for experience. Expertise, when we go back and look at a lot of these sites, Who's the expert here? We don't know. No one knows, okay? Right here, though, on my site, if you click on this, I've purposely built this intentionally. I have a dedicated page that actually just kind of edifies my experience and why I'm able to write about these topics, okay? I have social profiles. I've got my email set up. Like, this is what it takes to show your legitimacy as, a so-called expert. Yeah, people call me expert, but I've just been doing this a really long time. So, but just showing social proof, showing proof that you're a legitimate figure in your industry. You should make that a priority, okay? And then I have a whole bunch of dedicated stuff here that you can dig through as far as what you can do to, take this to the next level, okay? As far as your expertise goes. And then the other two, obviously authoritativeness. Backlinks aren't actually going to save you if you're going to be doing spam, okay? So links are critical for ranking, but if you drive good backlinks to your website, but your website's garbage, it's not going to matter. Okay, so always begin with the content, and the links are fuel in the fire. Like we're driving links to the site and acquiring links naturally because of the content, right? The content is the lead domino at the end of the day. So if you want to get high quality backlinks without creating assets, then you may want to consider using search intelligence. They use a unique strategy that doesn't require creating assets. Instead, you contribute expert insights for other websites. They pitch a huge list of journalists, and you score powerful backlinks to your homepage. Now, please don't underestimate the power of homepage links. In fact, if you study the link profiles of the most successful websites online, you'll see that most of their backlinks point to their homepage. So for example, Wikipedia has backlinks hitting its homepage at a very high rate. And if your site is structured well, the backlink equity and trust will flow to other pages on your website. So I'll have a link below this video where you can learn more about search intelligence. If you create great content consistently, you greatly increase your likelihood of getting links naturally, okay? It's just a fact, okay? In fact, even I just got a link today from Teachable to gotchaseo.com, and I got that link because I have been creating so much YouTube content that they actually referenced the fact that I use YouTube to promote my training program, and they linked to my website. So you see how things get real weird like that when you're starting to build, like trying to build a brand. It's not so like, you don't have to worry so much about acquiring links because you start to get links naturally when you build a real brand. And that's what I've been trying to teach people for so long, like actually build a brand. That's how you get links, right? That's the easiest way to get links. The hardest way to get links is to create garbage content and have to buy them all the time because the content sucks so much. That's a really hard way to build the authority of your site, okay? So create assets that people want to link to, all right? That's all you have to do. Next thing is trustworthiness. This is a combination of the factors combined, but if you go in here, I've got so many things you can do to make your stuff more trustworthy, okay? And when you look at a lot of the websites that are successful, you'll see that, they have a lot of legitimacy in their content, okay? So go through this, spend some time, make your site more trustworthy, do these things that are required, build a brand. Like, this is super complicated. The problem is that it's hard, right? And it's hard to do this stuff. It takes a lot of time. I've been building my brand since 2013 is when I launched gotchaseo.com. 2013, we're talking over a decade of me working on this. That's what it takes, right? That's what it's going to take long term. And I'm still figuring stuff out. I don't know what I'm doing half the time, but I'm just figuring stuff out. And that's what we have to do. We have to just continually work to build our brand, continually add value and educate, and focus on quality over quantity. That is always going to be true in SEO. Quality over quantity. It's true in SEO. It's true on YouTube. It's true on Twitter. It's true on LinkedIn. It's true in the products that you sell. It's just true across the board. Like, volume-based games don't typically work that well long-term. And you look at the most successful people in any field, Christopher Nolan, you look at the best actors, okay? They don't show up everywhere. They're very selective where they show up, and they do exceptional work, okay? So it's just the case. Now, there's some exceptions to this rule, but of course, most people would be better served allocating their time to creating the best stuff possible and you can live with that. You can sleep at night knowing that you did that. But when you play these little games and you try to manipulate Google and you try to spam and try to just get rich quick in some ways, you should expect to live a very volatile experience as far as SEO and in your business. Okay, do stuff that's difficult. That is how you get ahead of people. You do things that are really, really hard. Okay, and that's what it takes. Okay, so it's still super early in the core update, so a lot of this will likely change as Google rolls this algorithm out. But keep in mind that what we're going to see here, it's going to be very different than what we saw previously in the video, which is looking at sites that got de-indexed when it's pretty clear why they got de-indexed just based on the quality. And it's clear that the manual actions were taken. Okay, Google's algorithm is not as good at identifying that level of spam. There's a lot of debate on whether Google can even understand the algorithm, can see if content is AI or not. Okay, very difficult to know, but I always lean on the side that Google is capable of doing it. Like, I just have to assume that $1 trillion company that has large language models, some of the best in the world, should logically be able to identify other content that's written by large language models. That's a pretty fair assumption to make. And even if that's not true, I would still rather build my strategy from the perspective that they can, okay? It's the same with link building. Like, I assume they can see footprints of spammy link building practices. So I focus on getting the best links imaginable, right? That's what matters, okay? That's really what is gonna be the safe thing to do, is always assume Google can figure it out, okay? Just always assume it, so always build from there. Now let's take a look at the search results and see what we're seeing here. I'm gonna be showing you a few informational intent, commercial intent, even localized intent, okay? So we're gonna walk through a few of these just so you can see kind of what the makeup of the search results is. And I'm telling you, these days, in a lot of keywords, if you're only doing SEO, then you are really playing a dangerous game. You're rolling the dice. If your business is 100% dependent on you ranking in the organic results, then I'm sorry, you're playing a very dangerous game. If you want to build a business that's really sustainable, you need to be thinking about how can we occupy as much real estate as possible in the search results, right? That's what we want to do. Occupy as much real estate as possible in Google, occupy as much real estate as possible in YouTube and TikTok and Twitter and LinkedIn. Build a presence, build a brand on multiple platforms so you can drive traffic and leads from multiple sources. Never be reliant on one source in your business. And this is coming from someone who loves SEO, okay? I'm telling you, do not do that. Even in my business, most of my leads and traffic and all that good stuff and clients come from YouTube. They come from referrals. It comes from email, and then a little bit of Google, and then some other stuff mixed in there. But lots of different channels, lots of different opportunities to get people into my business. Okay, so please, if you're running a business, don't just rely on organic search results. It's really dangerous. All right, so let's look at this one. Informational intent, which is how to make Chick-fil-A sauce. Love this sauce, my personal favorite when I go to Chick-fil-A. So I had to, pick this one. But when you just look at the search results, like, take a look at a few things. Number one, we actually do have a ranking that is actually above the fold, which is pretty shocking. It doesn't usually happen. You usually get pushed way down the fold. People also ask, as always, shows up everywhere, a recipe block in here, and then traditional results, a video, lots of schema, review-based schema, and then some related searches. So if I was trying to rank here, and this was like, let's say I was selling some sort of product in the recipe space, I would just try to, first of all, build a great asset, number one. Try to dominate every single topically relevant topic here to support the main topic. So like how to make Chick-fil-A sauce. Well, now we can tackle all these different variations, and if they have different intent, then we should create another asset to support this main asset, okay? So like this one, is there mayo in Chick-fil-A sauce? Well, that has different intent than how to make Chick-fil-A sauce. Someone's asking a very specific question, so you should give them a very specific answer, okay? That's how you build real topic authority, is just starting to get real granular and starting to answer your users' questions to the fullest extent. All right. Then getting in the recipe block here as well. That way we can occupy even more real estate. And these guys have, they've taken 2 spots. They got one here and one here, which is beautiful. And then a video. I'd also be, pushing my YouTube strategy so I can get even more real estate on the first page. That means you could technically get about 3 spots on the first page if you play this right. Okay. Actually, even more than that if you rank in the people also ask as well. So look at a couple of these assets. I'll say recipe blogs are notorious for having bad experience. So I hope that this one doesn't have it. But even comparing this one to some of the earlier examples I showed that got de-indexed, like right away, we can see there's an actual person here that runs this site. Like at a glance, we can see it. Okay. They've got an email newsletter. They've got like legitimate, it looks like high quality images. There's stuff here. Like these look like custom images as well. So already a lot more legitimate than the previous stuff that we saw. And it's got a bunch of comments on top of it, along with the person who runs the site answering the comments. Okay. So this makes perfect sense. I don't mind a page like this ranking. Like if it fulfills the intent, it's helpful. It's written by a real person. That person's actually genuinely taking their time to help people. This is a good asset. Okay. Totally works. This one, another one, Build Your Bite. This is the one that's ranking number 1. Once again, we can see there's actually an author. They actually give us the ability to jump to the recipe. Wow, that's super nice of them because a lot of these sites usually don't let you do that. And so that's a good move for user experience, right? And we look at this site, looks like legitimate images, got a person who actually runs the blog. And this is a legit site, high quality images, looks like good content. Yeah, they have ads, right? Nothing wrong with monetizing your site, but it's what happens in between there that matters, okay? And once again, a bunch of comments, lots of comments to make it super unique, adding lots of user-generated content. So very good. This is all very good stuff here. Another one here, this is Taste of Home. This is a very big website, but once again, very clear that this is a legit website with the legit author and legit content. All right. And actually not super aggressive with ads either, which I do like. I think they're a little more conservative. It looks like they are linking out to possibly some sources. They're doing internal linking, which is good for users. So overall, good stuff. Okay. So satisfactory content that's ranking here. I'm actually quite pleased that it's not, garbage that's ranking, because for a while there prior to this update, there was a lot of stuff that was ranking that it's pretty hard to say that it should be there. Okay, another one here. What is good CTR for TikTok ads? Very long tail query, not a ton of volume, but I want to take kind of like a longer tail query and see what we can find. We got a featured snippet. People also ask, discussions in forums, and finally we get to the first organic result. So, this is an example of like, you got to try to occupy as much real estate as possible because CTR is going to be scarce in this one. Okay, and I have some other ones coming up here too where it's even worse. But you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 possibilities of clicking that are outside of the traditional organic. So, once again, if this was a keyword that mattered to me, first of all, I'd try to dominate this featured snippet, but then I would attack people also ask. I would start to do some guerrilla marketing inside of Reddit. And then I would also be publishing YouTube videos to occupy this here. Now I have an example of this like in the context of my business. Like if you look up, let's see, are backlinks still important? Okay, I just did this one recently, and you can watch this video on my channel. It's recent, but like I rank number 3 here for this, and then I also rank number 1 on Google because of YouTube. Okay, and if you go into YouTube, I think I probably rank number 1 for the same thing on YouTube. So that means I've basically taken 2 spots on Google, and I've taken 1 spot in YouTube search. So that's when I talk about occupying as much real estate as possible, that's what we should be thinking about, okay? That's the beauty of YouTube, is that you can actually, if you do well on YouTube, you can honestly get a lot of traffic specifically from Google as well. It's kind of cool like that. So that's what I'm talking about as far as occupying as much as possible. So this one here, is your TikTok CTR good enough? This looks like it's written by a legitimate brand. So this looks good. Yeah, legitimate brand. It is a copywriter per se, but for the most part, this doesn't bother me, especially for a low competition keyword. It looks like it's a legit brand. They actually sell stuff, so it doesn't bother me. Same one here. Looks like another one. Yeah, they have unique graphics or specific to their brand. Looks like legit content. This gets the job done, okay? Another one here, same thing. Another legit brand that's, content's not great. Not something I would brag about, but it's definitely like probably answers the query decently, okay? So, and let's see, it probably could be AI content, honestly, looking at it. So, but once again, lower competition keywords, you're gonna see usually an influx of lower quality content. That's just kind of the nature of what goes on, because most people who are gonna spend their time investing in really good content aren't gonna waste it on a keyword that gets 20 searches a month. It just isn't worth the effort. So you're gonna see some not so good stuff. But one like this, like why does my elbow hurt? This is very competitive, right? A lot of search volume. So you have Mayo Clinic at WebMD, you got Cleveland Clinic, like all kinds of Harvard, like you're not going to be ranking here unless you got a ton of authority, okay? Tons and tons of authority. This is really crazy. This person's got like, they're dominating this in YouTube. Like they got 3 videos that are crushing it. That's pretty insane. You don't see that often. 3 actual videos, so that's pretty insane. Next one here is looking at the sites. I don't think I need to go super hard on these. These sites work really hard to establish trust and authority. But keep in mind, these sites also have massive, massive amounts of backlinks from highly trusted sources. So that's also one of the biggest variables here as well. It doesn't matter that you put like, this little, you put an author above the fold and all of a sudden your rankings are going to fly high. But when you combine that with all the backlinks that they have and the trust that they built, this makes perfect sense. Okay. Same one here, same exact thing. Okay. No surprises. All right. Now let's look at this one here, red shoes. So this is, I would say out of all the industries that, if you're doing SEO, like you need to really reconsider what you're selling as far as a service, okay? Because if you're just selling organic SEO for e-com, it's getting real tough out there. Okay, really tough to get clicks. And the reason is because when you search something like red shoes, them just picked a very generic one, right? But we've got an image pack, so we don't have regular results yet because it does have somewhat visual intent, so that makes sense. And then we do have Nordstrom, and people also ask, and then a few actual traditional results. But then we start to get into this little pack of shopping results, and Google's then trying to persuade you to shop deals, whatever the heck that means. And then also, more packs of shopping results essentially. So if you're going to be doing e-com SEO, you need to master the SERPs across multiple fronts. You need to be able to rank in the visual pack here, which is the image pack. You also need to be thinking about using structured data to be able to get some visual results here in traditionally. You need to get into people also ask as always. And you also need to be thinking how you can get into the shopping results as well. So you need to be attacking a lot of different fronts for whatever brand you're working with. And just doing pure organic SEO, that's tough. That's super tough. But let's say you like Red Shoes Inc. here, like, first of all, they get a lot of benefit by having an exact match domain, right? That clearly helps them. But the other thing is, if this was my brand that I was trying to build up, like I would just create so much content around red shoes. Okay. So like when we start to open these up, we can see there's so much opportunity. And obviously finding ones that are relevant, like this one's about a movie that's not relevant to what we do. Okay. So make sure it's relevant to what you do. But who started the red shoe trend? Okay. That's a very valid question that would be perfect to be answered on this website to build topic authority. Okay. I would be spending all my time there just building really, really tight topic authority in this case. Okay. And that's how you can win. That's how you could beat a site like Nordstrom, even though they have ridiculous authority. You can beat them by being way more relevant. I've done this countless times. Just being more relevant is the only way to truly be a super authoritative site where the link gap is so massive. You can make up that gap with pure relevance. Okay. And of course, high quality content as always. But looking at these pages, no surprise here, e-commerce based websites that are ranking, category pages that are ranking. And this one actually, is actual brand, but because they have it in their domain name, probably get a big lift from that. Okay. Next one here is gaming laptop. No surprises here. Best Buy, Walmart, PC Mag, super authoritative stuff. Very similar to the previous one. There's a buying guide section here. Once again, another opportunity to optimize. So you need to play a different game when you do e-commerce SEO or even just e-commerce search marketing. Okay. Same thing here. A lot of category pages are going to be ranking. No surprise, except for PC Mag, which is just a very strong website in general. Okay. So with all unique content, I believe. All right. So they aren't using AI content to rank. So once again, another example. All right. Curve Couch, same situation here. We definitely want to be optimizing for these listings in addition to the image pack, in addition to the organic results. There's just a lot of battles that have to be fought, and also on YouTube. Okay. So just the pure SEO strategy these days is not going to do it. You got to attack multiple fronts. All right. I'm not going to keep harping on that, but it's just really important. Okay. And these are all category pages. Once again, you don't see affiliate sites ranking for this very often, very rarely. Actual brands are ranking. Shocking. Okay. That's what Google is showing a preference towards. Even prior to this update, the last couple updates, when you look at a lot of these search results, it's just brands that actually sell these products that rank. So if you're just trying to be an affiliate, it's going to be a rough thing to do. Okay. Next one here, best running shoes. Good stuff here. Lots of decent brands ranking. We'll look at these guys. And they have a totally legitimate, first of all, it's Runner's World. So really high quality site, super authoritative and absolutely legit content. Super legit. Looks good, high quality. You can tell a lot of work's been put into it. Makes sense. Okay. Gear Junkie, another one. This one looks pretty good. I don't know if it's AI, but we'd obviously could run it through and see. But for the most part, at a glance, remember we're looking at this just at a glance. It looks pretty good. Okay, it looks pretty good. It's relevant. It's clearly a website that they put a lot of effort into. Okay, that's the key. New York Mag or NY Mag, we all know that this is a very authoritative website, so I don't need to really focus in on that. Okay, best mattress for stomach sleepers. It's all the same players that you would expect. Okay, Wirecutter, they rank for everything when it comes to affiliate, and that's because their content's pretty high quality and they have a ton of authority. Okay, this one, Sleep Foundation, highly relevant business with good content and lots of links. All right, that's a great combination. Like their content's really good, like super good. You can see how much effort has gone into this content. It's pretty insane. So mad respect for this site. This is a site that you wanna put into your swipe file and see, okay, if I'm gonna build a real business or build a real like information site, like this is what I should aspire to be. This is the type of site you should aspire to be. Okay, CNET, they've just been around for a really long time. They have a lot of authority, so they can get away with a ton of stuff. All right. Best dog food for picky eaters. Once again, we've got the Dog Food Advisor, very specific brand that focuses heavily on this industry, and they have a lot of unique content, and it's kind of affiliate driven, but once again, super high authority can win out in a lot of cases. We got Chicago Tribune. So yeah, just a lot of authority here where they can get, take advantage of that. And then Just Food for Dogs. This looks like a legitimate brand. And once again, when you're a legitimate brand, there seems to be a little bit of preference towards that. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so that's a wrap on Google's core update. I'll keep you guys posted on new things that I'm finding over the next couple of weeks. But for the most part, as always, quality over quantity. That's what wins when it comes to your content, when it comes to your links, when it comes to your business. It really is the key. Now, keep in mind, if you are struggling and you're not ranking #1 for the keyword you want to go after, or maybe your rankings have fallen, I would highly recommend investing in this ranking diagnosis checklist. This is a proprietary checklist that I created, and this is what every member of our training program uses when they have a keyword that is just struggling to get to #1. I've never once run through this checklist and had a keyword pass every single part of it if it's not ranking #1. Like it's never happened. It's literally what you can use for any keyword that's really struggling. So highly recommend investing in this. Not a big investment. We'll probably raise the prices soon because I'm about to do probably another version here coming up. But for now it will stick at this price. But this is like, once you see what this is, it's going to be like, the investment is tiny. Okay. And then, if you want to go to kind of a next level, you want to stay ahead of these Google updates, I would highly recommend, and especially if you're working with clients, you have a lot of clients you're working with, or you're running your own business, you want to stay on top of your game, you got an internal team, like this is what you should consider investing in, because honestly, this is the Academy and there's nothing else like it. And when you look at it, like we've obviously got the reviews, but let's show you, like it's pretty insane. Like I just did a complete upgrade on our systems. Funny enough, to integrate AI, but do it in a safe and effective and long-term way. And you'll see like it's getting very intense. I just launched this whole new section about content. And just to give you an idea, like just looking at like upgrading existing content, one of the things is like increasing word count, which is really important. That doesn't just mean like generically increasing word count. That means adding meat to your page in a high quality and relevant way. Okay. So you can go and look at just like a sample SOP here and see like, this is the process that my team goes through to execute content campaigns. Like even show how I do it in the project management software, and everything that I do to upgrade assets is all in one place, along with a video demonstration of how I do it in a real life example. Okay. This is literally everything that I've ever like learned as far as me working on hundreds and hundreds of SEO campaigns over the last decade is all in this training. This is in like if I took everything that was in my head and put it into a system so that my team can execute this work. And be able to execute at such a high level that we can continue to get results, not just today, but also in 5 years from now. Okay. So it's a big investment to join the Academy, because it's not just training and SOPs and templates, but it's also, I'm actually helping you every single week. So I jump on these coaching calls twice a week. We're about to have GSA 300. And you can see, if we look at the previous calls, I just finished my 200th and 292nd coaching call. Okay. I've done a lot of these, and you can see hour to hour and 25 minutes every Tuesday and Thursday. Typically have 30 to 40 people on these calls, and we don't stop until every question is answered. So that's our rule. But GSA 300 coming up here, we're gonna have like a big cool event. We're gonna be giving away a bunch of stuff. So we're really excited about that, but you can get in on this and stay ahead, because I've been talking about this stuff for a very long time. Like if you go in the search bar and you search AI, like you're gonna see all kinds of stuff where I've talked about AI stuff so many times. Like with 292, like I probably talk about AI, or even like if we even search like ChatGPT, more specifically, we'll see like I have 58 coaching calls where I've talked about ChatGPT. All right. Like so many things that we've been talking about this for a really long time. In fact, I showed people even before ChatGPT when I was ranking with AI content. And just so you know, some of those assets are still ranking. They have not moved even during these updates. And because there's a way to use AI content that is much more sustainable and safe. So that's the stuff that the members get access to literally every week. They're seeing what I'm doing. So, on YouTube, I share a lot of stuff, but I don't it's always after I've already shared a lot of these things with our training program. So yeah, like I said, the investment is big, but it's worth it. And if you read the reviews, you'll see everyone says it's worth it. So, and if you're not trying to learn SEO and you just want me and my team of experts to help you, we do offer, very rarely, we will bring on some clients if it's a really good fit. And when I say good fit, it just means like you have a legitimate business. You're already getting leads and customers. You're already growing. You've got good revenue sources, but you want a team of experts to come in and really take it to the next level. That's what we're looking for. Okay. And we can certainly help you there. And you can just go in here and apply. Just go to gotchaseo.com/services. And then just, submit your application like this, and real simple, just tell us what you need help with. And then if we think there's an opportunity to help you, we'll book it on the calendar. Same with the Academy. We also require an application for this. But you know, it's worth it. It takes a couple seconds here and you can apply. And if we think there's an opportunity to help you, you'll get booked on a calendar, you talk to my partner, and then we'll get you signed up. So it's simple as that. So thank you so much for watching. And so thank you so much for watching. And I hope this was helpful. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching. And please let me know if you need any other help. Talk soon.